Alright, part 8 is now in session with Stuck in a Ringer. Again, this is another episode where Patrick is literally a dumbass. In this one, SpongeBob was cheerfully taking a shower by singing, and then he accidentally drops the soap after when he cleaned his brain. And then he dried himself with the wringer, and then he accidentally falls, and then he gets stuck in a wringer. And Patrick comes and he sees his rubber ducky and he's like, "Can you help me?" But does Patrick actually help SpongeBob? No! He doesn't! You know what he does instead? He takes out the forever glue and actually glue him instead. What a dumbass Patrick is. What a fucking dumbass he is. What a fucking dumbass! Fucking dickhead Patrick is. Dickhead Patrick Star. And then SpongeBob says, "Oh my god, why did you glue me with that forever glue? How am I gonna go to work, and how am I gonna go in public when I'm stuck here forever?" But SpongeBob tries to keep his spirits up, but eventually things had gone very chaotic. In the Krusty Krab, he was making Krabby Patties, but he accidentally squirts mustard in Squidward's eye, and it fails. Oh my, that's in a fucking kid show. And then, yeah. It's very disturbing, even for a kid show. Squidward's eye comes out. It's so disturbing. Who would want to eat a person's eye? And things had gone very chaotic, and Mr. Krabs kicks him out after this disaster. Patrick tries to cheer SpongeBob up, but eventually it made it worse. He couldn't even eat ice cream, and he couldn't even do anything in the carnival. And then it comes to the point where SpongeBob yells at him and blames Patrick for everything, especially gluing him forever. But then Patrick cries and everyone is mad at SpongeBob because he's the one that's blameworthy. And Patrick's like, "Fuck SpongeBob, I don't want him. I don't need him anyways." And yeah. He goes into his house and SpongeBob was watching TV, and Patrick then feels remorseful and he feels guilty for what he done. And the shed of tear in Patrick's eye comes and it melts the forever glue, and SpongeBob did the same thing, and he's now out of the ringer, and SpongeBob's like, "I guess crying does solve your problems after all." Which is the exact opposite of what he said. It doesn't help solve problems after all. It makes the problems even worse, even for yourself. And now they're both stuck in the ringer. You want me to get the forever glue? I don't have to explain how bad this is. This is bad. Patrick had literally no clue of how to free SpongeBob. Instead, he made the situation even worse for SpongeBob. And SpongeBob ends up having a bad day because Patrick was the one who ruined his life. Patrick was the one who ruined SpongeBob's life, all because of the ringer. Oh my god, Patrick! Oh my god, Patrick! Oh my god, Patrick! What the fuck were you thinking, Patrick? Why did you do this to your best? He's your best friend, and that's the way how you treat your best friend by using the forever glue and using it to glue your friends in the ringer. That's how you treat your friends. Guys, this episode is really angering me. This is really making me angry. You could tell how much I am getting angry because of Patrick, the dumbass dickhead, the asshole right there, who glued his best friend in the forever glue in the ringer by using his forever glue, eventually ruining SpongeBob's life. The director had no idea of how shitty this was gonna be. And they weren't even aware of how shitty it will be. And it ends up so shitty that words cannot describe how nauseating this episode was. This bottom line, this episode sucked. Moving on. One course meal. In this one, Plankton tries to get the Krabby Patty formula, but Pearl comes and Plankton all of a sudden becomes petrified of whales, and he runs away. And then Mr. Krabs had made an agreement to scare Plankton by dressing up as his daughter, Pearl. And then Plankton had a nightmare of Mr. Krabs' daughter, Pearl, and Pearl chasing Plankton, and she eats him, and oh my god. And then it got so bad and so torturous for Plankton. Plankton had decided to commit suicide by hoping to get run over. Mr. Krabs feels very proud of what he did. Of course, because he's a cold-hearted bastard. Yes, Mr. Krabs is very unlikable in this episode. And he is the real main antagonist, not Plankton. I don't see any evil on Plankton, no. I see all evil on Mr. Krabs. Plankton is innocent. Mr. Krabs is 100% pure evil. And then Plankton figures out that Mr. Krabs is afraid of mime. And Mr. Krabs gets a taste of his own medicine with the mime. And SpongeBob's like, Plankton, we have a situation right there. And he sees whales and he just goes away. And Mr. Krabs like, thank you, me boyo. And the mime comes and he's like, okay, you're really creeping me out now. This was a very mean-spirited episode. Mr. Krabs is a self-centered, arrogant son of a bitch. He loves to torture Plankton by scaring him as a whale, eventually showing no remorse or no regret and no sympathy towards Plankton. He just loves to do it because Mr. Krabs is a cold-hearted dickhead. Mr. Krabs should have ended up going to prison for that. Especially when Plankton tries to commit suicide. Mr. Krabs should have ended up going to jail, or prison I should say, and lose everything. Especially his daughter. Which I'm pretty sure they'll take her to a foster care for a new family. Mr. Krabs is a danger to Plankton. He's a threat to him. I don't see anything about Plankton threatening at all. He's just an innocent guy who wants to get the Krabby Patty formula and wants to have customers for God's sakes. But Mr. Krabs, on the other hand, doesn't let him. he wants to torture him and making sure that he kills himself. Oh my god. This was a very mean-spirited and cold-hearted and despicable episode. It's abysmal. One course meal was one of the worst things I've ever experienced. It's got to be one of the worst things I've ever experienced. Why is it the way it is? It's awful. This was a terrible episode. Moving on with the last one for this video. Squid Baby. It all starts with Squidward taking a shower, but he hears SpongeBob and Patrick and they were playing with baby toys. Of course, because they're acting like babies. And Squidward scolds at them, saying, "I want my peace and quiet!" And then they were playing a Jack-in-the-Box, which causes them to cry. And then Squidward accidentally hurts himself, and they take him to the doctor, and he has his head go boobomitis. Okay, what the fuck is that? Head go boobomitis? What the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? And then now they are the parents, and the doctor said take good care of him, but Patrick does a shitty job. Even by taking care of baby Squidward, he does it so hard. Whoop-de-doo! Yeah. SpongeBob was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" And yeah. And then Squidward does lots of things that most babies do, and playing and crawling. And then when they lock him up, he starts to cry. And then they go to the Krusty Krab. SpongeBob is too tired to work, and things don't work out very well. Squidward drools and he draws on the guy's face, and he ends up shitting in his diaper. And then SpongeBob tries to change him, and then later on, Squidward is back to his normal self, and he's like, "Am I wearing a diaper full of shit?" And SpongeBob's like, "Yes." And Squidward's like, "Shut the fuck up and don't even mention this to anyone. Ever." Okay. This was a stupid episode. The jokes are just gross. Even when Squidward shitted himself, it's still gross. The shit jokes where they shit in their diapers, it's gross. Dirty diaper jokes, ew. And Squidward acting like a baby the whole time, really? The head go boobomitis? It's confusing. It's very confusing, and it's very infuriating. Especially in the beginning when SpongeBob and Patrick were playing with baby toys. What happened to them being men in the actual movie? I want to know. What happened to them being men? All of a sudden they started to grow backwards? The director had no idea of how to make a good episode. This was a very poor excuse. The jokes are disgusting. The plot is very poor. The head go boomeritis doesn't make any sense at all. The dirty diaper jokes are just nasty. It's a very disgusting episode. Squid Baby, oh my god. One of the worst things I've ever experienced, especially at the beginning and at the end, with the dirty diaper jokes and all that stuff. Ugh, it's just horrible. Horrible, 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 horrible episode. It's horrible. Okay, part 9 will be in session next week, so stay tuned.